Hello and welcome to Dugout Debrief. I'm your host, Chris DeLuca. This is Boom Broadcasting's one, first, and only baseball-centric podcast, and we are back for our first episode here in the month of June. Well over a quarter into the year, and some teams are standing tall, some teams are not standing tall right now. Before you know it, we'll be halfway into the year. It'll be the All-Star break. So, with that being said, we want to remind you of our new co-host here, who will probably be giving his opinion on a couple things throughout the show. He's tentatively named Schroeder after the Peanuts character, the catcher from Peanuts, the piano guy. But he's gotten a lot of opinions on a lot of different things, so he's just a little bit distracted. He's not a very attentive co-host, but that's okay. None of this is for money. With that being said, we've got a lot of news to cover here. So we'll go first start with the Kansas City Royals. We'll go start in the AL Central here. Kansas City Royals calling up their number one prospect, Jac Caglianone. This is a great move. Aaron Schneider's Royals. We were talking about this a little bit ago here on Instagram. He was really hyped up. The outfielder and slash first baseman is a first rounder out of the University of Florida. And he had a really good year in AAA Omaha with the Storm Chasers, batting .319, slugging to .723. And I think this is a good move because you're kind of at a bridge time, to say the least. If you're the Kansas City Royals, I mean, you are 32-29, 7.5 games back of the red hot Detroit Tigers, who will be number one in our power rankings this week. Once again, I will completely spoil that. 7-2 or 7-3 over the last 10 games. Minnesota Twins also having a great year too, especially compared to how we thought they would be. And of course, Cleveland is going to Cleveland. So you really got to make a strong move here. You got to bring all hands on deck if you're the Royals. And I think that this is a good time to do it. Hunter Renfroe and Jonathan India both having pretty weak seasons. So I think this is an opportunity to put him in the outfield, get him some outfield work. Or if you're not comfortable with that yet, you can always put Salvi back at catcher. I think they have Famine catching right now. And then you could just go put Caglianone at the designated hitter position too, if you just want him taking cuts. But I think for a number one prospect who is natural first baseman slash outfielder, I think it's a good move to put him in the field, let him get reps. You're probably going to want to keep Pasquantino at first base, pretty decent defensive first baseman. He's having a pretty good year too. We hope that the Pasquash stays healthy. He's a fun guy to watch play, but good move for the Royals all around. Next, the Tampa Bay Rays signed Kyle Gibson to a minor league deal. The 37-year-old was released by Baltimore earlier after having a 16.78 ERA, which is kind of just symbolic of how the Orioles' rotation has been this year. It's been a major problem. We said it would be a major problem, and turns out it was a major problem. Knowing the Rays will end up being the next David Price or Chris Archer, though. So Kyle Gibson, minor league deal. Maybe we'll see him play in Durham. AJ Smith Shover, I always have to enunciate that. He's going to probably miss the rest of the year, unfortunately, more than likely requiring Tommy John surgery. The 22-year-old seventh-round pick had a 3.86 ERA this year, and it's been a struggle for Atlanta pitching-wise. I mean, not like they've been absolutely terrible. Most of their guys are in the mid-threes, but compared to last year, especially Chris Sale taking a step back, Schwallenbach has been okay. But Smith Shover, losing him, not good at all, because you need these guys who have these mid-threes, low-fours ERA to be able to maintain consistency and be able to keep your head above water against a really good New York Mets team. A New York Mets team that's been taking the Dodgers pretty close in this series of the week that we've had. Speaking of the Dodgers, Evan Phillips will also undergo Tommy John surgery. He didn't pitch much this year, but it's a huge hit for the Dodgers. It's been a struggling bullpen. He struggled in 2024, but a great 2023 with a 2.05 ERA. And Tanner Scott, outside of Tuesday night, where he got the 3 straight outs in the top of the 10th inning, has been absolutely atrocious. 4.73 ERA. And rare he's had a clean inning. 2 earned runs in the L against the New York Mets. Obviously got that blown save 4 earned runs against Cleveland, another 3 against the matchup in Queens against the Mets too. So not having a good year. Tanner Scott, I was even questioning if he should still be on the major league roster, but for now he's at least kept his spot on there. I was definitely saying we should push him back to middle relief. But it's been a not great year for the Dodger bullpen by comparison to how we expected, especially by comparison to how it was last year, basically carrying us to the World Series. Bullpen, like I said, been struggling. Bonda and Dreyer, negative. War. Kasparis has been pretty solid. He got a hold last night. But I want Mason Miller. I would not be opposed if we went for a Mason Miller and Emmanuel Clase at all. So I would love to see a trade there. But we'll see. But speaking of the Dodgers and signing relief pitchers, they signed the former Marlins top prospect, Jose Urena, played for Miami, Colorado, New York Mets, Texas Rangers, Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, Brewers, and Blue Jays. A 1.6 career WAR on a 4.78 ERA. Like I said, former Marlins top prospect, and also made his Dodger debut on Tuesday night. We have a retirement to announce, too. Josh Harrison announces his retirement. Played for quite some time. Played for the Nationals, White Sox, A's, Tigers, Phillies, and Pirates. He batted a 270 career and had an even 500 runs career. So hats off Josh Harrison. We hope he has a good retirement. Got some college baseball news as we're about to start up those super regionals. Murray State advances to the Super Regionals as a 4 seed, the only which to do so this year. They beat Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, and Oklahoma State, 3 really, really good programs, especially Ole Miss, recent national title. Oklahoma State, you can never go and doubt them, and Georgia Tech too as well, coming out of the ACC. Murray State heads to Durham. They head to Durham to go play Duke. So Durham will host a super regional, so will Chapel Hill. And for the second year in a row, WVU advances to a super regional. With LSU's win over Little Rock, it means it will go to Baton Rouge. So unfortunately, it will not be coming to Morgantown. It would have been very interesting to see a super regional come to Morgantown. 2019, WVU hosted a regional in Morgantown, but unfortunately, the past 2 years, you've had the opportunity to. Would have really just fallen off at the end. Obviously, last year, getting swept by Texas and then having to split that title, that Big 12 title, and then this past year, losing, I believe, 6 out of the last 10. That slide ended up making us not host a regional, but it's perfectly fine. Obviously, last year losing dramatically in game 1 of the Super Regional off that Vance Honeycutt home run. He's currently in the Orioles organization. I was actually there for that game, so that was a fun thing to witness. And it's a hard road ahead. LSU is a fantastic team, obviously. Paul Skeens University. But, they dropped one to Little Rock, and both will be rested. Anything can happen in baseball. So we really do hope to see WVU win that series, go to Omaha. I mean, it would be great. I've always wanted to see WVU go to Omaha, and I will definitely be watching. We'll be keeping up here with college baseball this year. With that being said, the main topic of today's video is we're going to be talking about every potential future Hall of Famer on every MLB team. We're just doing the National League this week. We'll be doing the American League next week, and I think this is going to kind of be a interesting list to discuss. Obviously, this will be up for interpretation. We're just kind of going based on stats, and So we're going to start with National League East. We're going to go start with the Philadelphia Phillies, and I'm kind of just going to do definitely's and then maybes. One thing I will also note before I get into this is I'm really trying to stay away from the really young players and talking about if they're going to be a Hall of Famer or not, because it's really early to tell. There's a couple of them I will mention, but some of them I just don't think it's even worth it because it's so early in their career, with a couple exceptions, which we'll see, one of which will be Paul Skeens. So obviously, number one for the Phillies will be Bryce Harper. At a 52.5 WAR career, he's batted .281 and 1,112 runs career. He's got the personality. He fits very well in Philly. And I mean, I think he's pretty much a shoe, and he's a first overall pick. He's one of the first overall picks that actually did work out in general. Former national, current Philly. I think he'll definitely go in as a Philly, but I think he's basically a shoe in at this point. Makes good case. Zach Wheeler, a perennial number 2 Cy Young Award winner, 108 and 72 career with the 3.32 ERA. And like I said, multiple top 10 Cy Young Award finishes. I feel like he's finished number 2 pretty much every single year. Aaron Nola is a maybe at 105 and 86, 3.78 ERA. And then another maybe is Trey Turner at the 37.9 WAR career, 296. I think that'll help him out because especially the older voters on the Hall of Fame committee really do like looking at batting average. 1,422 hits career. So, yeah. I think that all these guys at least make a case. Bryce Harper definitely a shoe-in. The rest we'll see as we go. Chris Sale for the Atlanta Braves, I think, is essentially a shoe-in, especially with that Cy Young that locks it. 141.86, 3.04 ERA, 1.051 WHIP, 2.9 FIP. That's a big one. 2.90 FIP. We love to see that. And another big one too is 11.1 Ks per 9 too. I'm pretty sure he's the active leader in Ks per 9. If last time I checked, or at least he's up there. Obviously the Cy Young, 8-time All-Star. He's won a Triple Crown. That's very, very uncommon to see. ERA title, and he has a Gold Glove too, which I did not know. I think that Cy Young award that he had here in 2024 essentially locked it up. That made it impossible for him not to get in pending some crazy personality allegation. A maybe is Matt Olson. I think that he needs a little bit more to prove. He needs to hit a lot more home runs, even though he is a home run hitter with 271. He's been at 254, 2-time All-Star so far. Again, a maybe. We have our first younger player who's proven, obviously, that he's great, but unproven Hall of Fame-wise so far. We have Ronald Acuna Jr., who just needs to stay healthy. I mean, statistically, if you're retired right now and you saw this, you'd be like, oh, 290 batting average, 168 home runs if you just mathed out the pace, 526 slugging, 139 OPS plus. He has an MVP. He has a Rookie of the Year. He's 4-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, and he led pretty much every single offensive stat his 2023 MVP year. Again, it's just health. He has to stay healthy to be able to get this. I really do think he's going to get in, especially because he's as long as he stays healthy. Like I said, if you look at that outside of the like the home run total, which you can't really say much about the home run total because he's only played, I think he's in his 4th year. So, yeah, regardless of that. Moving on to the New York Mets, I think we have a definite with Francisco Lindor. Lindor here has he has 4 All-Stars, 2 Gold Gloves, 52 career WAR. Probably would have won MVP last year and any other year that Ohtani didn't exist. Another probably definite shoe-in will be Juan Soto already. I mean, he has the best selection in all baseball, 4-time All-Star. He will get an MVP. He has a batting title, 5-time Silver Slugger, 38.2 WAR with 985 hits. And also, again, the big thing is he came up when he was like 19. He's only 26. So I think that he's definite. A maybe will be Pete Alonso. I think Pete Alonso is still maybe 21.8 WAR. He does have those 238 home runs, but again, strikeouts are a big problem with him. And that's really kind of my thing with the Mets. I don't think Edwin Diaz even is going to come close as a closer. I think he became elite too late in his career, and now it's borderline if he's elite. The Reds, Ellie, way too early to tell. Same thing with Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker's been really good, but again, I think too early to tell. They're both pretty young. I think Kyle Tucker's only like 30. Not even. Milwaukee Brewers, we also have a maybe with Christian Yelich at 52.7 WAR, 3.85 ERA plus, or batting average. Plus he has the MVP too. So I'd say that he's a maybe. And then we have another one of those young players where it's way too early to tell Jackson Trino, rookie of the year. But guy I was pretty big on, guy I still am pretty big on. I think he can definitely get it, but while out, to say the least. And now we're about to probably have our first semi-controversial one here. And with the Pittsburgh Pirates, I do have a maybe, as we did talk about at the top of the show, or the top of the segment, rather. But I do have a definite, and I think this is going to be a guy who is going to get in right at the end of his eligibility. So right at the end of that, I think it's a 6-year eligibility. And that's Andrew McCutchen. That's Andrew McCutchen. I think he is a lock-in for his second to last year eligibility at a 49.7 career WAR. He batted 273 again, older especially. Committee voters really like that. 1,113 hits. Career. He's 324 home runs, and he has the most active games played, which I think is really impressive too. He's managed to be consistent even at the end of his career. I mean, there's a reason that the Pirates keep paying him. The Pirates are not a team to go throw money at someone clearly just because they want to. So he has a 2014 MVP. And like I said, this is not going to be some first ballot Hall of Famer, but you got guys like Barry Larkin who are in there who was very good in his career. But again, got in toward the end of the eligibility. I think in a slow year, especially, they're going to look at Andrew McCutchen. They're going to want to put him in. Not only what he's done on the field, but also he's been off the field in the community, what he's done for the city of Pittsburgh, what he means to the city of Pittsburgh. I mean, if you ask people from Pittsburgh, they will put him up there as one of the more influential athletes of the past 30 years in the city of Pittsburgh. So really done well for himself, especially in the locker room too. So I think McCutchen will get in. The maybe, obviously, Paul Skeens. I mean, debatably the best pitcher in the world. Guy's pregame routine is insane. Cy Young Award winner, already 8.6 career WAR, 15-8, 2.03 ERA. Wins and losses are not going to mean much because this guy's going to spend, this guy's going to spend at least the first 2 years of his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are just not trying to win baseball right now. So I definitely think that he will get in. And I think that wins total, which again, how much you actually look at wins on a Hall of Fame ballot is debatable. If you really want to, I think it's going to go up anyway because another team's going to go and eventually he's going to get traded or he's going to go leave on free agency. He's already not the happiest in Pittsburgh. I think a lot of us can kind of tell that. So that is a whole segment for another day. So this is the Hall of Fame. We're going to get into that. We actually will get into that probably next week or the week after. I want to give it a little bit more time because the Paul Skeens saga, I think, is going to get a little bit more dramatic than we're anticipating this early. Anyway, San Diego Padres. This is going to be a fun one because you got a guy who is a big maybe. You got Manny Machado. It was not the maybe. I think Manny Machado is a lock-in. I think Manny Machado at a 59.6 career WAR, 349 home runs, 1,076 RBIs. He has slugged 488 in his career. He has 6 All-Stars. He has only 2 Gold Gloves, which I would think he'd be way more because he's a very, very good defensive third baseman. It's just a competitive position, obviously, at third base. But I think if it was a little bit less competitive, he would have upwards of 5 already to 6. 2 Silver Sluggers, again, competitive. Third base, you got to be good with the glove and the bat to stay in the league. The hot corner is probably the 3rd or 4th hardest position on the baseball field. Manny Machado was my definite for San Diego. Character concerns aside, at least so far, he's not done anything really that would be disastrous to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. Obviously, kicking guys in shins and all that is what it is, not good. But moving on to our maybe, and this all kind of depends on what happens to the steroid verdict. Obviously, Pete Rose is being allowed in the Hall of Fame. Shoeless Joe Jackson's being allowed in the Hall of Fame. So guys who gambled on the game are being allowed in the Hall of Fame. So maybe that will change with steroids. Who knows? Again, we all know my opinion on it. If you let one of them in, you got to let all of them in. But Fernando Tatis Jr. has it all. 23.9 WAR, 2-time All-Star, Gold Glove. He will get an MVP. I mean, that's without a doubt. He'll definitely get an MVP. He's going to be a lock-in, I think, because this guy is not losing his pace unless he has like a massive injury or another suspension where he ends up missing more than an entire year and he's away from the team. I think we'll be okay. Another guy, character concerns too, but again, not officially done anything that will keep him out. But there are a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that have character concerns. Do I think either of them should be in? It's not my opinion to get. I'm just relaying information here, guys. San Francisco Giants, we got a guy who's not going to go in as a Giant, more than likely. I mean, who knows? He could. It would be very unlikely, but legend for two teams, especially Detroit and Houston, MLB The Show cover, 80.6 career WAR, 3.31 ERA. He has 3,467.2 innings pitched, 3,456 Ks. He has 3 Cy Youngs. He has an MVP award, which you almost never see for pitchers. Rookie of the Year, Triple Crown, 9-time All-Star, 2-time ERA title, and ALCS MVP in 2017, and of course, a 2-time World Series champion, both with Houston. As I said, legend with 2 teams. It's Justin Verlander, top 3 pitcher probably of the 2010s/2000s in general. I'd definitely say top 3 pitcher of the 2010s. First ballot Hall of Famer the year he retires. I hope he has a bounce back year. He's struggling a little bit this year, but just to the name of the game, I hope he has a bounce back year. Interesting to see him on the Giants, but Verlander will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is one of the best of this generation. We got a maybe. Matt Chapman, already 40.1 career WAR. Didn't know he was that high. 192 home runs. When we were talking about Manny Machado here earlier, part of that really competitive third base position, the one-time All-Star, which I think will get more. 5 Gold Gloves, stealing a lot from Manny Machado on his National League side, and the average might keep him out, but we'll see. The Diamondbacks mostly are a very young team, so you're talking about guys like, Corbin Carroll is way too early to tell, but we have a maybe, and I have Corbin Burns as a maybe. 19.3 career WAR, 3.15 ERA, 131 ERA plus. He has that Cy Young. He has the 4-time All-Star. He has an ERA title in 2021, and he's only 30, so I think he's got plenty of time to bolster those numbers, get that ERA just a little bit farther down. 3.15, I mean, that's not bad at all. It's a Hall of Fame number. Again, on a good Diamondbacks team, you can get that wins total up too. And the Dodgers are going to be quite a long list, but Ohtani, obviously. Can't even say much about him. I think if you're retired now, simply because of his influence on the game, being a two-way player and doing it both at an elite level, be a Hall of Famer. 46.8 career WAR, 248 home runs. He has a 282 batting average, 3-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, 4-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. Got that World Series in 2024. Mookie Betts is definite too. He's a legend with 2 teams, with the Red Sox and the Dodgers. 72.1 WAR. He has a 293 batting average. Again, voters love that. 1,113 runs, 519 slugging, and MVP. Obviously, he's a 8-time All-Star and a 7-time Silver Slugger. Freddie Freeman, 63.1 career WAR, 2,334 hits, slugged at 514, and 63.5 offensive WAR too, which is a big deal. MVP, 8-time All-Star as well, 3-time Silver Slugger. It's just all these Dodgers are all kind of right around each other with accolades. Clayton Kershaw, the starter of Tuesday's game against the New York Mets, who's back. We love to see that, is a shoo-in. He's up there, too, with Justin Verlander as one of the best pitchers of the 2010s. 79.2 career WAR, 212 and 94 record, 155 ERA plus, 155 ERA plus, 1.012 WHIP. He has 2,753.2 innings pitched and he has 2,974 Ks. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll get to 3,000, but it would be really cool to see. He has a triple crown. He has 10 All-Stars and 3 Cy Youngs, most importantly. I think Kershaw is going to be our first ballot. Verlander will be a first ballot. Honestly, with you, I think all these guys will be first ballot. They might wait a year for Freddie Freeman. I highly doubt that, but I think everybody that I mentioned, the Dodgers, here is a first ballot. Next, we have our one maybe on the Dodgers. We have Blake Snell at a 23.6 WAR, 77.58, 1,372 Ks, 2-time Cy Young. Again, every other year with him. 2-time ERA title, big deal. Really hard to do, especially these days in his era. And only 1-time All-Star, which when I looked that up, I was like, wow, crazy. But anyways, that is our list of Hall of Famers to the National League, maybe Hall of Famers. If I forgot anybody, put it in the comments. I kind of went through it fast. Give me your feedback. I want to know your opinions. We all know how much I like opinions. But with that being said, here we're about to move into our power rankings, series of the week trivia, and we'll get out of here. So power rankings, we have a team that dropped down a lot. We have the Dodgers, team that's kind of struggled against New York Mets here, stumbled out of the gate, obviously blowing that lead in Monday's game, but then coming back and winning on Tuesday, walking off. Next, we have the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have been off to a much better start than I expected. Chicago right now is standing at 38-22, and they're 8-2 in their past 10. Next, we got the New York Yankees, moved up a little bit, 37-22, 7-3. We got the New York Mets, who have been pretty good against the Dodgers, as we said, 8-2 of the past 10. 38-23. And then at number 1, we have the Detroit Tigers, who are 7-3 of the last 10, but they're 40-22. They're the first team to reach 40. Best team in baseball. Only team that's close to them is New York Mets. Series of the week, we have the Cubs at the Tigers. I think that'll be a great Midwestern battle. We got the Red Sox and the Yankees, always a good series. I think that's going to make a lot for bragging rights, obviously, as it always does, but also the Red Sox are trying to turn their year around after losing Alex Bregman and struggling a lot more than expected. Then Dodgers at Padres. Not much of a rivalry, but also the Padres are within one game of the Dodgers. So that is that. So trivia, and we're getting out of here. Last week, Jason got this right. Who is the Yankees' current main TV announcer? For yes, it is Michael Kay. Michael Kay, it is high, it is far, it is gone. And then for the radio, it is Dave Sims, who, fun fact, used to be the Mariners announcer, Mariners TV announcer. So with that being said, we're going to go have our last trivia question here, and not the last one ever, but this is how we'll end our show. This week, what year were the Kansas City Royals founded? That's what we talked about at the top of the show. Jac Caglianone getting called up. What year the Kansas City Royals founded? If you get that, put that in the comments. But I want to once again thank you guys for tuning in to Dugout Debrief here on this Thursday. It's been a really action-packed week. We've had some fun call-ups. We've had a retirement. And we're having a lot of changes in the standings here. So I want to thank you for subscribing to Boom Broadcasting. A lot of great shows here. They've been covering the NBA playoffs, NBA finals really well with 3 from Deep. So hats off to Jason, been doing a lot there. We talk about football. We talk about TV shows, pro wrestling, and obviously baseball. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of here. You have a great week.